Hey everybody, Jimmy with the Triple C Collective here for another Superhero Saturday. I'm bringing you Moon Knight episode 3, The Friendly Type. We're at the halfway point now for Moon Knight. I personally have been really enjoying it because Oscar Isaac is just given a fantastic performance. Ethan Hawke is amazing in this. Um, Both of them are really are just given powerhouse performances. I'm really digging both of them. So for me, it's been like a really fun watch the along the way. And this episode is no different. This episode is really cool. It definitely had it expanded a lot of like the Egyptian god kind of like aspect of this episode and like the whole world of Moon Knight and like that mythology and everything with Khonshu and all that. So like this was really cool. But yeah, this is the episode 3 of 6. So let's go ahead and dive in. This episode opens with a cold open. We see Layla getting a fake ID or fake passport being made, and so that she can enter Egypt, get into Cairo, where Mark currently is. So there's one thing in this whole conversation, like Layla's giving her frustrations about what's going on between her, Mark, and like now like Steven, like this whole other thing that's going on, like things that she clearly has really been kept in the dark on, and like they're married, so like hey, rightfully so. But they she talks about taking relics off the black market, but there's something that they say here. They talk about her father's scarab, which is interesting because would that be then the same scarab that like we've been trying to see them like get this whole season, and by them I mean like Mark and Steven and Khonshu? Is it the same one? If it is like that, that's interesting. I wonder what's going on there. But they make the comment like whatever happened is lost out there into the desert for this. So like, but Layla says that she takes relics off the black market and gives them back or like sells them back to whatever like museums and stuff, and keeps one or two for herself to pay the bills or something, which was really funny. We get a cut to Ethan Hawke's Arthur Harrow, and him and his cult followers or whatever are like wandering the desert like Moses and stuff, and they find Amit's tomb, and like the little scarab thing flies and like stops and like points down, basically I guess signaling that this is where it is. You got to dig here and hope to find it, because like she was buried 2000 like over 2,000 years ago or whatever. So that was it, like that was really great. But Layla's whole scene, that was the cold opening. Then we get the opening credits, and then we open with, after the credits, with Harrow and his followers at their dig site. We get cut back to Mark running atop of roofs, chasing, trying to chase someone down. He gets to that person, and that person is being killed by two of what we can only assume is Harrow's followers that are in this city, or in Cairo where he is, because Harrow and the rest of his followers are out in the desert. So and we hit the this is really funny, like some of the line readings that Oscar Isaac like gives and stuff is like really awesome in it. And he gives a really great one here. He's like, I need to talk to that guy. All right, I guess I'm gonna have to talk to you guys now. And like then this whole scene then is really awesome. Like some of the fight scenes throughout like all of this episode, I've really liked all of the fight scenes that we've gotten. Could there be more? Sure, maybe, possibly. I mean, we could probably see a little bit more of like, since you're showing us Moon Knight in the suit, we could probably see a little bit more of him in the suit at this point, but I don't know, whatever. But they do this, the music for this scene, for this fight that happens between Mark and these like three these like two guys who are probably about his age, and then somebody who's like younger, like 18, 20 or something, like clearly a lot younger than the rest of them. And like they all have this awesome fight dance music, and like it's awesome. Like the sword handlers and stuff like are dashing it and like scraping it across the stone and making it like spark a little bit. And oh man, it was cool. It was just so cool. The music worked really well for it as well. It was awesome. Like this was like a really cool, fun fight scene. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And we get a point where Mark is like got a knife up to like one of the dude's like throats, and he sees, obviously they've been using reflections and stuff of how like, Mark and Steven are able to talk to each other because Khonshu just kind of is like there almost. It's not like like Khonshu's just like, I don't know, there to both of them, I guess, maybe, I don't know. Either way, Steven stops him and is like, no, like, stop, don't do this. They switch out, and Mark, or I'm sorry, Steve, yeah, Mark wakes up into a cab, and the cabbie is like yelling at him and everything and stuff. And he's like, hey, stop, 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 because he sees the two guys that he was just fighting come down, and he's like, hey, I need to talk to you. Cabbie's trying to get him to pay his like till for whatever. I mean, we just come back to Steven or Mark coming to in the cab after Steven had control. So it was really great, but Mark now has control, gets out of the cab, goes after the other two guys, and they run off. The cabbie's yelling at him. It's great. The music, even in this like chase scene of like through the streets and stuff of like Cairo and everything, like even the music here for this chase was like really, really great as well. But the score killed it this episode. It was a really great episode for the score. It was fun. It was really good. This had like a lot of great like pace, action, and stuff like shot to it. It was awesome. It was a lot of fun. All right, so Mark finally stops one of the two people that he was chasing. Steven distracts him, and the dude like knocks him out. And we get like the dude that Mark just had, like Steven takes control for a second or distracts Mark, knocks out. They come to, Mark comes to, and the two people that he was chasing are there. Two of them are dead, and then the young kid is nearing the end of the young kid is nearing, like, is on the ground getting himself up, and then Khonshu tells Mark, bring him to the ledge, hold him over there, and the kid cuts his own like tie or whatever that Mark is holding on to him, like part of maybe a scarf of some kind. I don't really know. It looks like a tie kind of thing, scarf kind of thing, and dude just falls back. And Khonshu's like, I really thought he would talk. I didn't think that he would do that. That was wild. But Mark and Steven have a like fight here about like who killed those people. Like Mark's like, wow, Steven, I can't believe like you did that. And Steven's like, what are you talking about? That wasn't me. And Mark's like, well, I didn't do that. And like then it raises the question now, like in the comics, there's Mark, Steven, Jack Lockie, and then I think there's like a little girl persona as well that he kind of takes on. And so is it one of them that showed up? Like, is it, but like Jake or Jack or Jake Lockey or whatever is like a cab driver? So, like, I don't know. I don't know. Or is it somebody else? Like, did they make up a whole new personality? Or maybe was it Kanchu? Maybe, like, did Kanchu was just like, F you both. I'm going to take care of this right now. And, or not. I don't know. We do not know. But then, they Mark and Khonshu are trying to figure out a plan on how to get the attention of the gods, to get help to stop Haro from finding and digging up Amet's tomb. And so, in order to do that, Moon Knight says that, or Khonshu blocks out the sun with a lunar eclipse. And then Khonshu and Mark are still walking around Cairo, and Khonshu's like, a portal will appear whenever, like at any given point at any given time, and that's how you know we have been summoned by the rest of the gods to go have court with them. So a portal opens, they walk in, and we meet all of the Egyptian gods, the Inaded. We meet Yitzhak, who is the god of music and love. Then we are introduced to Horus, Isis, Tefnu, Osiris, and Hathor. And Yitzhak. Yeah, Yitzhak. They and Khonshu have like a long history together that Mark is unaware of, because Khonshu doesn't really talk about the gods and really doesn't have anything normally good to say about them. And so they figure out why they are here. All of the gods are there, present in their avatars, and Mark and Khonshu start pleading their case about Haro to the council there. And we also learned that the gods left because they didn't want to meddle in the dealings of man anymore. They went to the Overvoid. And then we get the Khonshu and Haro debating sides, which is really interesting. Haro calls out, like, this. Actually, let me take a step back here. This whole thing is awesome, because when they walk into this portal to get to the council inside a pyramid, it turns out to be the Pyramid of Giza, and it is really cool because Mark is walking in the hallway, like physically there in control of the body, and then we have the reflection. We have the reflection of Steven walking on like the kind of reflective, like super polished, shiny stone that's in there. And it was really cool because Steven's like freaking out, like, oh my god, this is so cool, I can't believe this. And so then they have the council, and they basically are unconvinced from what Khonshu says, because Haro brings up like how Khonshu's vision is obscured by paranoia. He's unhinged. He talks about how Steven and Mark are not well, that they literally don't even know their name, like who's in charge. Haro brings up that he has seen, like Steven and Mark talk to themselves as like one person, but one in the reflection, one controlling the body and stuff. And it is pretty difficult to kind of come back from. And the inside, sorry, gotta go back. The inside of like the Pyramid of Giza, of where they're at, is so cool looking. Like, they all have like statues, and it's like a huge towering thing inside there. And oh man, it just looked really cool. It definitely looked like, it made me remember like the the Mummy franchise with Brendan Fraser and stuff from like the late '90s and everything. Loved it. It was so cool. I've really been digging Moon Knight. Moon Knight's been pretty sweet. I have to say, it's been pretty cool. Um, Cyrus, he gives the final ruling of saying that Haro has committed no offense, so we gotta let him go. And Kanchu is all mad and angry at it, and they dismiss. Before they leave, though, Yitzel, Yitzful, I think is probably actually how you say it, Yitzful. Um, she actually stops before she walks away because, again, Kanchu and her have that like long history together, and says there's another way to find Ahmet's tomb and still stop Haro, because like I believe you. Like the ruling is the ruling, because you didn't convince the others, but there is another way, and you need to find Senfu's the 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 Magi sarcophagus. You'll find a map to Amat's tomb. So, Senfu was one of the followers. They had to leave, when they imprisoned her, 2,000 years ago, in case if the gods decided to be lenient or grant mercy or whatever and free her. They had to know how to get back, and find her to do that. So one person knew, and it was Senfu. And he put he had the he had the map. So Mark then leaves, goes to the square, back into the city of Cairo, and he approaches a guy and asks about Senfu's sarcophagus, and the dude just kind of backs away, just slowly backs away. Layla then shows up. So as we saw from the cold opening, like Layla was able to get to Cairo with that fake passport that she had gotten earlier, and we get the we get the Mark and Layla team up that like we have like heard basically from Layla saying like we went on adventures, we did things and stuff together, like we were married and everything, like so this is cool that we kind of get to see a little bit of this. We Layla does say, at least to Mark's defense or whatever, maybe not even defense, but to like give him a little bit of a pat on the back, like she was like, you had the right place and the right guy, you just don't look Egyptian, is what she said. And that's why and that's why that dude like just slowly backed away. And yeah, it was really funny. But then they go on their little adventure here, and Layla's like, I know who has the sarcophagus, we just gotta get there. And so they're on a boat, and they are on a boat going to Mogart's place. And Mogart here is he is the dude who owns the sarcophagus. This is also that same French guy who passed away earlier this year, and I'm trying to double check his name right now. But he is he is a collector of antiques and everything. So he he's a collector of antiques. He takes all of these different relics and stuff, and he has them all in his own personal collection. And Jespard Uli Jaspard Uli, and that he unfortunately passed away before Moon Knight was released after it had filmed. So, but he plays Mogart. He has that collection that Layla is describing as only as gossiped about. Like nobody, like everyone wants to see it and have it, or like have access to it, or whatever, because it's that kind of renowned and anything like that. But still in the boat, Mark's like, you're probably mad about being left in the dark, leaving Cairo and stuff. And she's like, oh, is this an apology? And, he's like, hey, can we give our stuff, like, a rest here and, like, focus on, like, what's going to happen and what's our plan? How are we going to get there? And and what's our plan? And Layla's like, I am here not for you. I am here to stop Haro from hurting anyone else, any of those innocent people that could be affected by Haro and anything that he's planning on doing it for them. That's what I'm trying to do here. So that was really, that's really interesting. It was really great that we kind of see this like interpersonal like relationship between these two, because we really haven't had like that much time with them together. And so in like seeing how they work together as a team, especially on like a mission, or as they're saying, like an adventure, kind of like Indiana Jones and stuff, or maybe Lord of the Rings. Maybe they'll find mushrooms at the end of this, be a shortcut. I don't know. And but Layla is like also kind of pressing Mark a little bit more, like, you could have told me about Steven. And Mark's like, well, up until recently I kind of had it under control, like this wasn't an issue. I like and Layla's like, well, what happened? And Mark's like, it doesn't matter. And like this is a big barge thing as well, and like like Layla and Mark are on like the far end all the way by themselves, and then there's like another family on the other end, kind of like on the other end into the middle of it, and they're all like singing and dancing and stuff, and like it's a nice little like what turns out to kind of be the peace before the like the calm before the storm here. And they arrive at Mogart's and they are welcomed with open arms. There is no bad blood or anything, as like Layla was kind of like worried about. They all know her as Layla, and their cover is that he is not Mark. He is her husband, Stefan, maybe? I forget whatever their cover name is. Because it doesn't matter. And so they get in there, they introduce themselves, they mosey on around. Then we have this, like, it almost seemed like horseback riding fencing, which was, like, cool to see. I mean, show me anything like that. That stuff's always cool to me. People riding around on horses or whatever and doing anything on them, like jousting like in medieval times and stuff like that. Stuff's always cool to see. So like this was another kind of one of those things. It was super elegant though, and like and stuff. And like Layla is talking about how he Mogart is trained by the best of the best in this, and it was really cool. So it was really neat and kind of adding to this whole like thing about him, about Mogart, and who he is, and as this like major collector and everything like that. So like it was cool. It was a fun little bit, and then Mogart brings him in, and he takes them to Snefu's sarcophagus. Um, Layla and Mark are at there, and Steve and Layla's like, we really need Steven here because he'll be able to do this. You can't do it. You just give up control. And Mark's like, I'm not giving up control. Not in this situation. Not with Steven here. And so that was really funny. Layla distracts Mogart and his bodyguard as Mark starts folding the pieces as he makes the agreement with Steven for Steven to walk him through the process of everything that's going on here. And all of this was really cool. This was really awesome. We saw a really great like team up between like Mark and Steven working together, and like I think in the end, like that's kind of like the idea, is that they have to find balance within each other and with each other, and in times like this, like Mark needs to have full control of the body because he can actually fight and defend himself a lot better than Steven can. But Steven also needs to be able to be strong enough in his own right to be able to still talk with Mark and communicate with Mark about how he needs to like fold the different things together so that they can actually work as a team instead of distracting each other or like, you know, pulling each other in different directions and stuff. So like it was really cool. It was really neat to see it. Again, we see Steven like this entire time. Steven's in like one of the ceiling mirrors, glasses, windows, or whatever, and like it was great. It was super cool to see, and I love this. I love how they've been using these like mirrors and reflective surfaces for them to talk to each other and stuff, like, or to just give like really brooding and moody kind of looks and stuff to each other. We get Harrow arrives right before Mark is able to get all of the map together, and so much so that Mark like takes the bodyguard's gun and then he hands it back over and it's actually a really great like bit. But Harrow comes in and, you know, says like, I can offer you something else, and I can show you that like I actually am like connected to Ammit and like her power. He shows Mogart the cane, and then he tells him how like Layla and Mark, you know, Steven are just deceitful people and they can't be trusted and all of that. And it's really great. Like all of this is really good. We get Harrow, you know, walking in with that cane and stuff. Ethan Hawke, he's been a lot of fun for me to watch as like Harrow and stuff. Who's like not really like, I guess not like a super big character in like the Moon Knight like lore or like mythos. So like that's really cool that they kind of took like a deep cut and like are making him like the main bad of at least of these, like, or at least seemingly the main bad of these episodes here. And like again, this is only episode 3. We still have 3 more episodes. It's really interesting. I'm having a whole blast. I really love it. It's been really cool because I don't know a whole bunch about Moon Knight up until like what they're really showing me in the show, and like just little basic stuff that, you know, you can find on like Wikipedia or whatever. So like I don't know a whole bunch of like deep cuts, but like the one that I do know is that Harrow is not one of his big like main villains or whatever that you would call it. So like that's interesting that they decided to pull him for this show. So yeah, and like I mean Ethan Hawke again, he's great to watch. I love watching Ethan Hawke, and he's good in this he's good in this series, not just this episode, but he's really good in this series so far. But during this whole thing, Harrow gets to do a lot of bad guy monologuing throughout most of this series, which is also like really cool. Because we saw him like with the lentil soup in like the second episode, like the whole like killing children thing and everything. where Steven had like great protests and everything to that, rightfully so, obviously. Um, but yeah, we get more monologuing here. We get Haro like uh, reading through like Layla and Mark and like all of their insecurities and stuff like that. Because we get Haro saying that Layla can't move forward because of the death of Layla's father. Layla thinks that distance, like the farther away it goes, the more distance it is, it won't reopen the wounds. Which is also a callback to like the cold open, because in that cold open they both Layla and the woman making her passport, her fake passport for Cairo, talk about the death of her father and like the pain and stuff that they deal with it as. And so like that was really cool, to kind of get that. And then like there was the whole Father Scarab thing at the beginning of it. Like, man, there's some really cool like seeds being planted and stuff here. Like, I'm really excited for it. It's really cool stuff. And yeah, but so Haru is talking about the death of her father, and like and then there's something getting in the way from like your husband, because your husband Mark isn't telling you the whole truth, and he's afraid that if he does tell you the truth, you will see him as unworthy and stuff. So we get like Ethan Hawke again, like I said, like monologuing here, doing the bad guy monologue and stuff, and like it's great. They've given him one in like basically every single episode, and each time it's been awesome. Each time it's been fun. Each time he's done really great job with it. So like it's so cool to see that. But in this time, as he's talking, Mark is able to disappear because nobody's looking at him or Layla. So he's able to run away, and Moon Knight appears. And Mark is able to change into Moon Knight, and then he is able to, protect himself and Layla and against Mogart, and Mogart's like men and Haro, and again we get another like fighting on the streets and in the like ring where we saw the like horse riding fencing stuff going on. All of that was really cool. All of this is really cool. Like, I've really liked all of this episode so far. So then that's what we get. We get the we get them all fighting each other. We get Haro saying that like he had the right to know. And that's actually after it, when Layla and Mark are together one more time trying to figure out what to do with the star map and how to figure out where Amet's tomb is from the stars, from the picture of the star and everything like that. And that's all really great. But in their drive to figuring out the star, Layla's like, Haro said I had a right to know. I never told anyone why I left. Like, hey, he's seen that he had this way to see through like my true nature and stuff. And like Mark's just like, he's just trying to divide us. Like, don't worry about it. Like, he is just trying to mess with us and divide us and everything. Then we get to now figuring out the stars, and they have all of the pieces. Again, Layla's like, Mark, me and you cannot figure this out by ourselves. And also while they're driving, they also have somebody on a walkie-talkie in a car that says, I see them. I assume that it is only one of Haro's men, or like cult members or whatever, keeping an eye and keeping tabs on Layla and Mark. And all of this is really great. I I have thoroughly enjoyed this episode so far. It's been a lot of fun. But Mark, Layla, stop. Try and put the pieces of the map together from the sarcophagus. We get great Mark changing to Steven, and we see it um, like we see it virtually like right there on screen, and it's great. It's like a great couple of seconds. And then Steven just goes to work, he gets it together, and then all the pieces fit together as a star. And then they hold it up, they see a little light on there, and then Steven points out, see, that's a constellation right there. So then they're like, oh, well, in order to be able to do this, we will have to turn back the night sky and figure out what the we would have to figure out what the sky looked like 2,000 years ago. The night, the night that Ahmet was buried, and the night sky. In order to have that, and because they can't just like hold it up right now because they're having issues, Layla can't find it, and it's because stars drift slowly over time, but like so like it's not like huge distances, but it would be enough like that would affect them where they are by like miles at a time, so like or miles in many directions or any direction really. So Conchu's like, I remember the night sky of every night. I was there 2,000 years ago, so I know what it looks like. And then Conchu and Steven turn back the night sky. It comes at a cost. Conchu's like, hey, they're gonna imprison me in stone. Like, Mark has to come and free me from that so that you guys can all still survive, because otherwise, like, the magical healing power is gone. Because that's what we kind of see. Like, they start to turn back time, and like they start to turn back the night sky in direct. So when Conchu and Mark and before they called Haro to the court inside the Pyramid of Giza, the Council of the Gods, all of them said, don't you dare manipulate the night sky again. Don't do it. Don't do it, Conchu. Don't manipulate the sky, the night sky, the day sky, any sky. Don't manipulate it. Otherwise, we will imprison you in stone. And so, what does he do? Manipulates the night sky. Turns it back 2,000 years. And it's really cool, though, because we get, like, Conchu actually teaching Steven something and actually working with Steven, because Steven is in control of the body at the time. Mark's not in control of the body. And so this was really interesting, but it works. Like, they turn back the night sky to that. Layla starts doing all of her calculations. We get a bunch of different like cut tos. We get the cut to the Council of the Gods during it, as them starting to meet together and like all holding hands to make the stone statue of of Conchu, the little like idol looking thing. It's actually really cool. It looks like they actually just put a 3D printer in a green screen there and just had the statue be like 3D printed actually. Watch it. Like the way that they kind of show you how like the statue comes up totally looks like it's just like they actually made like a 3D printed like plastic statue or whatever of it. Like they just found the right thing for it. So then all this is happening, but like Steven starts feeling like the powers leave him, and Layla's like, I still haven't found it yet, and like Conchu's like, I'm like, you start seeing him almost like get like folded up and stuff, and like it's gnarly, and like this is all really like really crazy and really awesome. It was even cooler that like they like worked together and they did this. But the ceremony finishes. We see the statue of Conchu like form there. We see Khonshu literally like breaking down and disappears. Mark and Steven pass out, or the body just like kind of passes out. Then we get a cut to Harrow and Osiris. And it seems that Harrow was already working with the gods. Like, on something previous. Not necessarily with Khonshu or anything like that. Because Harrow and Osiris are walking, and Osiris leads Harrow straight into the tomb where the statue of Khonshu is, just in the middle on, like, I don't know, a pedestal or whatever. And it is, like, it's crazy because Harrow really is, like, I mean, for all intents and purposes, Harrow is working with these other gods. And I just never, you know, like this might all come back to like what Khonshu has always said, like he really doesn't like the other gods, and this is definitely a reason why he wouldn't like these other gods. But Harrow asks, can he hear me? Like, can Khonshu hear me? And Osiris is like, we believe so. So Harrow talks with Khonshu's statue, and he's like, you know, my greatest sin that I carry with me is that I liked carrying out the pain on your behalf. That is the greatest sin that I, like, carry. Had you, and he grabs the idol, had you not broken me so, I might not have learned the value of healing. So thank you for that. But I am going to do what you could not. And I want you to remember this. Remember that your torment forged me. And then this is the end of the episode. And oh man, this was such a cool episode. This was a lot of fun. I've got to say, it is wild to think that the little scarab that's been flying around that Harrow has that pointed them to Ammit was actually Layla's dad's. And we know that Khonshu has a thing for Layla to take over Mark when Mark decides to hang up the crescent moon or whatever. I wonder if Khonshu met Mark on a botched attempt of Mark trying to steal the scarab from Layla's dad, and like somehow messed that up because they found like all the secrets are lost to the sands of the desert according to Layla in the cold open. So I wonder if that's what happened. If like Mark or maybe another personality in that body along with like Khonshu, Mark, and Steven took over and maybe killed her dad. And that's how they ended up getting it originally to like go down this line of trying to find Ammit and everything like that. I don't know. But it'd be very interesting to see and like find out about this. So now again, we're at the midway point here. We've got 3 more episodes left, which I'm really excited for. The episodes have been I've really liked this show so far. I'm pretty in on it. Again, like aside from like seeing all of this stuff in like Egypt and like Cairo and stuff, like it's been really cool to see this like whole other part of the world and like the MCU and stuff, as they're like very much like they went very galactic, but it's nice to see this even just like a smaller take. Like, yeah, we were in London and now we're in Egypt and in Cairo and stuff, and like you know, in the cities there, but also in like the surrounding deserts around those areas and stuff. Like, it's cool. It's been really cool to see everywhere that this show has taken us. It's still really interesting to see how they kind of depict DID, like dissociative identity disorder in this. It'll be interesting to see if like in the 3 episodes we have left, I do remember like the like a bunch of like the creative team and everything came out and said that the Jeff Lemire run was going to be a very heavy influence on this, and the Jeff Lemire run mainly takes place in like a mental hospital institution with them, and like, or at least has a significant portion dedicated there, if not all of it, basically. And so it's interesting for them to say that and us also not see that, other than when Steven was getting handed that pamphlet after he got fired from the museum. So it's like it'll be interesting to see if like what they do, if they add that in the next, because here's the thing, they don't have Khonshu anymore to protect them. So now if Mark or Steven are walking around out in the open anywhere and like looking at a mirror and like getting into it with each other, they're going to look like a crazy person and probably be thrown into a mental institution. I don't know. I don't know what to expect in that. There are only 3 episodes left. So with that, I don't know. Are we going to get like a mental hospital, mental institution kind of stay with it? Are we going to explore that a little bit more, or are we just sliding a pamphlet and that's it? I don't know. I would be interested to see how they pull it off. I mean, I'm still here for it no matter what. Like Oscar Isaac is like, seeing Oscar Isaac in the desert when he's going from Mark to Steven was like so cool to see. And like it just shows how good of an actor he is. Like if you weren't a fan of Oscar Isaac before, you should probably be a fan of at least his acting ability and what he can bring and what he offers when he like takes a role or is in a movie or whatever, because he's really good. He's really awesome. I like his performance is really great. I mean, that's not also to knock anybody else. Like Layla's really great in it too. Oh God, what's her name? The actress who plays Layla is also amazing. May Calamay. She's awesome. She's so good in it as well. Oscar Isaac is great. Ethan Hawke is great. Like this show is really made of like powerhouse performances and everything. So yeah, I'm in on this show. I want to know if we're gonna go to like if we're gonna see a little bit more of the mental health aspect of like this character. I'm excited to see the last 3 episodes. This has been a fun ride so far, and like I'm really excited to see how this like kind of wraps up and like where they're gonna end it, and if there will be bigger implications now at the end of this series for the future. Like something similar to like, will this have something like some weird kind of some changing ending at the end, similar to like a Loki, or will it be like a similar ending to maybe more so like a WandaVision or a Hawkeye, where it was setting up these characters for like their future installments and future stories to like work together and see together. I don't know. I'm really excited though. So thank you for joining me on this Superhero Saturday here at the Triple C Collective. Excuse me. I'm Jimmy Clark. Thank you all again. Thank you all for joining me. You all stay safe.